Hotelier on the Grill. Good morning, this is Hotelier on the Grill and I'm Stuart J. Raj and I'm sitting here with the Area General Manager for Banyan Tree across Yunan, China, Mr. Michael Thomas. Rather than me introducing you, would you be able to just introduce yourself just briefly, not too much, and then we can get into who you are in more detail during the questions of the interview.
All right, thanks a lot for your time. Michael Thomas, I'm, as you mentioned, I'm with Banyan Tree. Sri Lankan born, Australian, worked for something like 30 odd years in the industry, so don't ask me how old I am, but quite a long time in the industry, and since May, late May, I have been with Banyan Tree, overseeing some of the properties in Yunan, and I come from different backgrounds in the industry, mainly in the luxury segment with Shangri-La, Intercontinental, Hyatt, and Sofitel hotels.
I've got to say, you're a lucky man being there in Lijiang in Yunan, one of the most beautiful places on earth. So we'll get straight into the first question. Where did you first cut your teeth in the hotel industry?
Sri Lanka. I was a management trainee with Intercontinental Hotels, and soon after I got a break to move out, and I went to Dubai with Hyatt Hotels. So that's.
And so what was your first big break?
The first big break was with Hyatt, so to speak, because as I mentioned, I was with Intercontinental as a management trainee, and a few months later, Hyatt was looking for people to groom into management positions. So I would say they found me, and that's how I started really into the international arena.
Right. So jumping across there, when you're in Dubai, you've had a long history bringing you to the point that you're now in China. Question number 3 is, why were you able to make it to where you are now, where perhaps other people have failed?
I'm very passionate in things that I do. Anything that I do, I really do it with very passionately and with all my heart into that.
Right.
Industry, hospitality, again, I'm very passionate, I'm very people-oriented. I like to work with people, and that's all I do. I like to work with my team, with my guests, with external parties in getting this whole thing together. So I think that's the success, if I may, the passion that I have. Yeah.
Right, so passion is the thing that's brought you to where you are now. I'm sure through all that time it hasn't been all roses.
Not at all, no.
So question number 4, and could you tell us about your darkest moment in your career?
I think if you work in this industry for 30 odd years, there were quite a few dark moments, but one that really particularly, how can I say, one of the worst times that we had was in Dubai, at the Hyatt Regency in Dubai, where we had a bomb blast, and so many of our associates got killed in that, and I was very lucky to have survived that. And it took a long time for me to recover, and for all of us to really come out of it, because it was a very, very bad experience. So if that is the dark moment that you're referring to, yes, it would definitely be one of the...
And you were actually there in the building?
I was there, and I was with them, and again, I'm here because I'm with you now, because I was very lucky.
Wow. And so question number 5 then, how did you get through that time?
Yeah, again, we had very caring and very very caring people that we worked with. At that time, my general manager and my immediate superiors were very caring, very understanding. So they managed to take us to the next sort of level, going through various sessions and so on and so forth. It took about,
About a year.
It took, I cannot remember how many
Yeah.
months or years, but it did take some time, yes.
Wow. So, seeing you here and you're saying you're passionate and that's brought you to this place, could you go a little bit deeper into that? Question number 6, what drives you?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier working with people. I have worked in different countries in the Middle East, in Asia, in the Philippines, Hong Kong, China, Thailand, and so on. So I always make sure that I always take a lot of interest in working with people, especially in my career now, developing people into higher positions, higher responsibilities. I have been very successful in that, and working with people again as customers to take care of them, to make sure that they're satisfied, they're welcomed, they're sort of taken care of, and when they leave on the same sort of happy mood. Because very often people are welcomed, but when they leave, they don't even, the hotel people even don't know that their guests have gone and leave.
Right.
So that's very important. So I really go through this process very carefully. I make sure that the moments that they spend in our properties are really happy moments.
Right.
Yeah.
So focusing on those moments.
Absolutely. Guest satisfaction for me is the most important thing. Because a lot of general managers today, they look at statistics and TripAdvisor that, okay, it's very important, but you have millions of people who pass through you, and if they are not happy, all what you're doing is wasted.
Right. And you've talked about your teams. No man is an island. Question number 7. Do you have a mentor? And if so, who and why?
I guess everyone has to have good mentors, one at least. In my case, I always have these 2 people in my mind. One was the general manager that I had when I first joined the industry.
Right.
His name is Berus Tamdiji. He was the one who really gave me the break, and then eventually brought up not only me but other people into different responsibilities.
That was at the
Intercontinental, and then eventually the next person I would always remember is Gerhard Schmidt. When I was sort of on middle management level and F&B director and so on, he was the one who really drove me, pushed me, sometimes really made me crazy.
Really, Gerhard Schmidt. And which property was that at?
He was with me at the Intercontinental in Muscat.
Okay.
And then eventually he brought me to China when he was opening the Palace Hotel in Beijing. That's the peninsula.
Wow. So could you tell us, and this is for question number 8, tell us of an experience in your career that's made you proud.
Wow, there were so many moments of, because whenever we had, I did a very important event in Dubai when we had Princess Diana and Prince Charles visiting Dubai, and I was in charge of the catering. I was solely in charge of the dinner and the polo match we catered for the following day. So that was something that we really enjoyed doing, and that's a proud moment. Yes.
Catering for Princess Diana and Prince Charles.
Correct, yeah.
That's something to have in your resume there. Question number 9. What's the best advice that you could give somebody that's looking to be a successful GM?
To me, a successful general manager has to be humble, because if you don't have that attitude, it's very difficult, because you cannot be thinking all the time that you are the general manager and you are above everything.
Right.
So you really have to be humble, and I'm a very humble person, so that really helps me to work with the team. If I have to wash dishes with them during an event, I would do that, and they would really pick it up, and they would really carry me through any difficult moment. Again, going to customers, you have to be very humble, you have to treat them with respect. So that's probably for me a very important aspect.
So humility is important.
Yes, absolutely.
And this is being listened to by not only your peer GMs, but also many people in hotel schools and people looking to be GMs and make their mark in the industry. So question 10, on the flip side, what's one thing that hotel GMs shouldn't get wrong, or that you might see them getting wrong?
I guess complacency could put you on a
Could you elaborate on that?
because very often when you're doing well, when you're in a general manager's position, one could become complacent, taking things as a guest, whether it's your team, whether it's your associates or owners for that matter.
Right.
So if you go into that direction, you could, I guess, go wrong very badly. Yeah.
So stay humble and don't get complacent.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Great. Now, question 11, and this is the final question in the hotelier focused questions. If you weren't in the hotel industry, what's your ideal alternate career?
I would be writing and traveling. So I love traveling, and at the same time, I always wanted to be a writer.
Really?
So I think someday when I give up this job, I would take on
Right
of
for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like any genre in particular that you enjoy writing?
Travel, the experience that I have had over the last several years in different countries, different cultures.
Right.
Because I have always been, if I may, very successful in any whether it's Lijiang now or whether it's in the Philippines many years ago or wherever in the Middle East. So that is because I managed to adapt myself to the different cultures. So I could really use all those experiences to put together something.
Well, as Wimintra said, I'm sure that we would love to have some pieces about you in the future. Stay tuned, listeners. You might actually see some articles in the future. Thank you very much for this, Michael. We're up to the last question, which is kind of different answers from different hoteliers. Gives us a look into another side of you. Question number 12. What's one app that you're currently using or hooked on, or that's caught your attention that you could recommend? An app on an iPad or
apps? I'm an apps freak.
Yeah.
So
Fantastic.
I love apps, and some of the most useful apps that I'm using, because I don't like games, but productive, let's say Evernote, for example, which I use very often for everything. I mean, to record my thoughts, ideas, places, and so on. Flipboard is another one that I very often use because it's very informative and read about news, food, technology.
That's called Freeboard.
Flipboard.
Okay, Flipboard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So those are things probably that I could recommend. Yeah. Evernote is something that I really use on a daily basis.
There you have it, Evernote. And I agree, Evernote is amazing. The fact that it syncs across everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
Seamless,
wonderful.
yeah.
Well, Michael Thomas, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Once again, it's been fascinating hearing your experiences all the way from Sri Lanka through Dubai and across the world, and now in Lijiang, China, area manager for Yunan. And we look forward to also seeing your beautiful property there.
Of course. Yeah.
And meeting all of your staff there.
Thank you.
Hotelier on the Grill.